Hi, this is Jan from She's Gone Digital. I'm coloring black hair today using Copic markers in the warm gray shades. I have caps from 4 of the markers that I'm using on the table by my image, which is a Hannah Lynn Designs image. I'm using warm gray 9, 7, 5, and 3. And now I'll sit down and let's get started. When I color an image, I usually always use a piece of scratch paper and put a piece of tape on it and add my image to it. That way, if there's any bleeding through my paper, the scratch paper will help and absorb it so I don't have the bleeding outside of the lines. For my hair coloring today, I'm using this new image that I've gotten by Hannah Lynn Designs. I bought it at Crafts and Me at the I was going to say at the end of my video, but on my blog I will put the links to where to buy the image and a little bit more information for you so I don't take up a lot of time here explaining that. I'm going to get right into coloring her hair with warm grays, and I'm going to color from dark to light. For this technique for hair coloring, I usually always color from dark to light, and I'll show you why. I'm going to start with my darkest marker color, which is warm gray 9, and I'm going to start right here at her part, and our hair naturally is darker at the part than it is anywhere else, so I'm going to start there and add a little color, and then I'm going to go down to the bottom of her strand of hair and color up a little bit. Then I'll take my next marker, which is a warm gray 7. Can you see that? And I'm going to go from where I started with my warm gray 9, and I'm going to pull that color from the warm gray 9 with my warm gray 7 a little bit farther, and then I'm going to do the same thing at the top right here and get that color wet again and start pulling it. Next color I'm going to use is my warm gray 5, and I'm going to go from almost the bottom of my warm gray 9 and through my warm gray 7 and blend that. And my ink's dried a little bit, so it takes a little bit more to get that ink to flow and move the way I want it to give me the gradation and color. Then I'm going to pick up my warm gray 3 and not go quite as far because this has a lot of solvent in it, and it will really lighten up my other grays. Now I'm going to go back and add a little bit of dark because, as you know, hair coloring is a process, and I've got it a little bit lighter than I wanted. That was warm gray 9. Oh, I thought it was warm gray. Okay, we'll take the warm gray 7. And I'm kind of making a mess of this one. So we'll do the warm gray 5. See if we can pull some more of the highlight out there. Ooh, saved it. Okay, so there's our first strand of hair using the warm gray, and I'm just going to start over with the warm gray 9. I think part of my problem is I'm used to holding the markers all in one hand while I color, and I'm holding my image down with my hand, and I can't see the markers as well when I pick them up, so I picked up the wrong one. But that's okay. With Copic markers, you can fix things pretty easily. I've got warm gray 9 in my hand now, and I'm just going to add a tiny bit to either end of this strand of hair. And I just picked up my warm gray 7, and I'm going to blend back into that. And then the warm gray 5, I'll start, just pull that color a little bit. And then I've got my warm gray 3, and I'm going to go all the way from end to end on this one because it's a real small piece of hair. Then I'm going to move backwards a little bit with the warm gray 5 again and add just a touch more color. When that dries, I think it'll look the way I want it to. And for the next strand of hair, I'm going to do the same thing. This is a nice long one, so I'll start at the tip of the strand of hair, color up a little bit, and then I'm at the other end of that strand of hair, going around the bend there. That's the warm gray 9. Then I'm going to take the warm gray 7, pull a little bit of that warm gray 9 down into it as I blend. Then I'll go back to the other end and do the same. I think it's really neat when you can use Copic markers and you're pulling those darker colors with the lighter colors and just getting that nice gradation in shades and tones. And I found that the warm gray hair is really nice. It was a nice surprise to me when I colored it the very first time. I was just very pleasantly surprised at the nice tones and shades that I could get out of it using the gradation of colors. I'm going to go back and add a little bit of warm gray 5 just to darken it up there a little bit. And we'll go back to the warm gray 9. Just start at both ends of the strand of hair with your darkest color, and then warm gray 7's my next lightest color. And then warm gray 5. I really like the Hannah Lynn images because they have separate strands of hair, and this way, with the separate strands of hair, I can really get the tones and highlights in there. I'm working again with warm gray 9 at the bottom of this strand. Oops, it went outside my line a little bit. That's okay, that's fixable later, or may just blend into the next strand of hair for us. Take that warm gray 7 and blend back up that way. Bring it down this way. And warm gray 5 is next. Kind of bring them both together. There we go. I'm not wild about what that one looks like, but it's not dry yet either. I think I'll go back and add some warm gray 5 into it to start. Ooh, I think warm gray 7 might be the thing to do with it. And my ink is wet, so it still blends and flows real nicely. Okay, that was warm gray 7, and then we'll do warm gray 5 and kind of see if I can blend them together a little bit better. That's not bad. When it dries, it'll probably look better, and it's a strand of hair in a whole head of hair. I think I'm going to stop there with my tutorial because I would imagine you get the idea of how to color a strand of hair now. I will keep working on this image off camera, and I'll finish it up, and I will have it finished and on a card on my blog for you to see. My blog address is jansgonestampin.blogspot.com. I think I have a piece of paper around here somewhere that has that on it. I just need to locate it. In the meantime, there's that. I found my piece of paper. Okay. There's my blog address, so if you'd like, you can go to my blog and see the finished product of my black hair using warm gray Copic markers. Thank you for joining me today for the tutorial, and I hope that you got something out of it, and I'd love to see your black hair with warm gray Copic markers. If you'd like to leave a comment on my blog and leave a link to your artwork, I'd love to come by and see it. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.